outgoing, determined, smart, and creative 13-year-old girl. She is mostly a carefree spirit and will try anything once. She's athletic and rarely complains about any physical pain. She's a singer and a dancer. What kind of a dancer? She has goals and aspirations. She has a resilient way about her, and here is our story.
Thank you for inviting us to speak here at Relay for Life. My name is Jackie Kleesner. It is quite an honor to be here. I've never attended a Relay for Life before. As a matter of fact, I've never thought about cancer very much until 2013. Up until June 12th, 2013, my life consisted of waking up, going to school, playing sports, and repeating day after day. We ran errands, we played sports, we worked hard. 3 years later, and I can attest to all of you that our family does not live our lives that way anymore. We don't run the rat race, we don't keep up with the Joneses. I'm so very glad that we don't. In early November of 2012, I started complaining of severe back and hip pain. This pain woke me up at night. I was taken to the doctor, and after an x-ray of my back and hips, he determined I had growing pains. This pain became so severe and frequent that it prevented me from playing sports, and I quickly became an, according to my mom, houseplant. A couple months later, my legs gave out on a basketball court during a game. I was taken to the orthopedic doctor. He determined I needed physical therapy. From there, I went to a physical therapist who then decided I had something wrong with my knee. We bought a knee brace, and that didn't change the thing. I had also visited a chiropractor who thought I had a small case of scoliosis. We had no idea what was wrong, but we knew that none of the doctors that I saw knew what was wrong either. After several trips to many different doctors, therapists, and tests, my mom requested an MRI. Although the doctors were reluctant, they finally gave me an MRI. The doctors called us and informed us that I had a syrinx, a fluid-filled sac that runs down your spinal cord. It is caused by an injury, they told us. Finally, a diagnosis that made sense. I needed to see a surgeon down at the University Hospital and Clinics. Perfect. Problem solved. Not so much. We met Dr. Arnold Menezes on June 12, 2013. That is also the day our family finally received a diagnosis. That's right. After 7 months of doctoring, following up, asking for tests, and misdiagnosis, my mom and dad heard the news that no parent can comprehend. I had cancer. Of course, they pleaded and argued with him, told him that there was no way cancer was possible. I had already had so many tests done. How was it not detected? Much to our dismay, it was true. The real emergency came next. If we didn't operate within 2 weeks, I would be paralyzed from my chest down.
As many of you can relate, you will never forget the day that you or your loved one was diagnosed. For me, I remember what I was wearing. I remember the temperature in the doctor's office, the smells, what I ate for breakfast. It was a sunny day. I remember how we were going to go shopping later that day, and I also remember how I had to call our parents and tell them that their granddaughter had cancer. I also remember thinking that there was no way I was going to come out of this alive. Jackie's neurosurgeon did not want us to tell her about her diagnosis. He wanted to keep her a 10-year-old girl for as long as we could. It sounds horrible to not tell your child that she has been diagnosed with a life-changing illness, but looking back on it today, it was the right thing to do.
On June 20th, 8 days later, I had a 10.5-hour surgery to remove a spinal cord tumor at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics. This tumor was wrapped around the wires in the spinal cord and would prove to be extremely difficult to remove. Dr. Arnold Menezes and his team at the University of Hospitals and Clinics removed 10 of my vertebrae in order to get the tumor, removed what they could, replaced the vertebrae, and secured them with titanium plates. When I woke up, I had no feeling in my stomach, legs, or feet. I had no control over my bowels and bladder. No one could tell if I was going to walk again, let alone have any function of the lower part of my body. At this point, I still didn't know that I had cancer, and I was extremely confused as to what was happening. I stayed at the University of Iowa for 2 weeks. I spent the rest of the summer taking radiation treatments and living in a rehabilitation center in Cedar Rapids to try and regain all of my faculties, including foot proprioception and balance. I set several small goals for myself. First and foremost was to walk again. Second was to get back on the basketball court. My parents were just hoping for the first goal. For 6 weeks, my mom and I went to 5 hours of intensive physical and occupational therapy. We had to try to adjust to a new normal. Our daily rat race came to a screeching halt. Our main goals for the day were no longer to go to work or school. My goals were now to get up out of that annoying wheelchair and walk, to control my body, to go home.
Throughout all of this doom and gloom, Jackie never spoke a negative word. In fact, her determination took over as a dominant trait and carried her and our entire family through. There was never any discussions about giving up, ever. She never had a moment of feeling sorry for herself, never. Okay, well, maybe she did have one or two, but she always just pushed through it. She kept pushing forward. We used to say that Jackie was driving the bus and we were just her passengers.
Fast forward to today, a little over 3 years past diagnosis. I have no residual tumor left in my spinal cord. I can walk without any devices, no AFOs, braces, crutches, walkers, wheelchairs, etc. I can go to the bathroom by myself. I can play basketball again. And I discovered other hobbies that aren't athletic. I found out I love to act and play guitar.
I think the hardest part for Jackie to realize that the life she used to live was not the same as the life she was living now. Where athletic things came so naturally to her before, it is a struggle. As her parent, it is particularly hard to watch her struggle, knowing that there is nothing I can do to change the situation and nothing that I can do to lessen the load she has to carry.
I have regular MRIs and testing every 6 months at the University of Iowa, and this will continue indefinitely. I see gastrointestinal doctors, urologists, radiation docs, neurosurgeons, and spine specialists. It's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that I always get examined by professionals, and they will catch anything abnormal. The curse is exactly the same. I always get examined by professionals, and they will catch anything abnormal. I guess I want to know if my cancer comes back, but at the same time, I don't. My cancer is rare and will not go into remission. In fact, I have a brain cancer that's in my spinal cord. There are very few cases like mine in the world. My age and where the tumor is located place me in an even smaller percentage. It bothers me that we can never say I'm cancer-free, ever. Because my tumor was so very large, it caused my spine to deform. I have to wear a scoliosis brace for 15 hours a day. I try not to let that slow me down. I'm constantly training to get better, faster, and stronger. But it's more than all those things to me. I have another goal in mind, other than the two mentioned above. I want to help other kids with cancer.
In September of 2014, Jackie had 3 teeth pulled. When the tooth fairy came into her room that night, she found a letter. The letter asked the tooth fairy to bring a little extra money because she wanted to donate it to the kids that had her kind of cancer. In October of 2014, Jackie announced at her birthday party that all of her birthday money was going down to help those kids too. On November 13th of 2014, she took exactly $86 down to the University of Iowa and asked Dr. Menezes to give this to the scientists that were studying her kind of cancer. By the time December 4th came around, she had meetings set up with the Iowa Foundation, the university, the Daily Iowan, the Gazette. She had been interviewed, photographed, and filmed, and she has realized her dream to help others with cancer, and Jackie's cause has become a reality. To date, Jackie has raised over $7,000 on her own. I will never understand where Jackie's strength and determination came from, but since the day of her diagnosis, she had made it her mission to beat cancer and find a cure. I could have never dreamed that Jackie could teach all of us anything about selflessness at such a young age, but she has. Even after everything she has been through, Jackie's story really isn't about her. Her story is about finding help for others, and as her parent, it is my job to help her.
Lastly, I will leave you with this. You could go to Walmart or any store in general and buy a Snickers candy bar or any candy bar. That would cost about $1 or $2. Sure, I won't deny that Snickers are delicious, but that $1 or $2 could go towards cancer research instead. These dollars could lead to something extraordinary, a huge breakthrough to cure cancer. Just think, we could beat cancer for good. Right now, we can't let cancer win. Thank you.
I was hoping that we could take a moment of silence to remember Jackie's grandma, Mary Kleesner. She just lost her battle with gliosarcoma on Wednesday, August 3rd, and we just came from her wake. Mary worked here at Beckman High School for 18 years, and many of you know her. She lived life to the fullest and never stopped fighting. She had chemo, radiation, participated in experimental trials for the last 19 months. She always said that she knew she would never be cured of cancer, but maybe something she participated in could help others in the future. I know she is looking down on Jackie tonight and is so very proud. We will miss you, Grandma Mary.